get ready. Because I literally just got done writing that description. I had to look up the lyrics to the song for me to get it right. And I also want to make it known that I just rapped my own version of the song, and it's really, really funny in my head, and I think only in my head. My only request is that somebody who can do a really good Shrek impersonation, please cover that song with those lyrics and credit me for the lyrics. Because I came up with that like a month ago, and only now did I write out the full thing. And holy shit, it goes on for so long. Okay, so aside from my wonderful lyricism, I'm going to be drawing, but I'm also going to open up my other screen to make sure that my thing's working. Yeah, it's working. Okay. I'm not hopping on the duck game for the sole reason of it lagged the hell out of my stream. Like, really badly. It was so annoying looking back at it and seeing that. I didn't realize it was lagging my PNG tuber too. That sucked. But I have... According to the PNG thing, that is my voice. Okay, back to what I was going to do. Fire alpaca. I was going to draw. I don't know what I'm gonna draw. I'm probably just gonna sketch things and talk shit out of my ass. No relation to the description of this video. What? Oh, it's in white. I don't know what to draw. It's a black eye. It just doesn't look quite like a black eye yet. I don't have anything in mind for what I'm gonna draw. I just kind of started this. And actually, that is the nose I gave this character, so we're good on nose. Why am I giving her a black eye, though? I have no reason. I hear SpongeBob music in the other room. If you can hear it, apologies. I originally redesigned this character, like, a long time ago, and I feel like the designs barely changed from then. I could probably find an actual picture of the character for a reference of what I'm talking about. Also, this is a doodle. Excuse that it's probably not gonna look that good. I feel like, weirdly, I've had more of an interest in characters that are not my main storyline, and also an AU I made of my main storyline characters than my actual main storyline characters, which is strange. I feel like I kind of fucked her up in a way that is not repairable. Okay, so I think I posted like one doodle of that AU thing. I'm gonna quickly draw their main antagonist again. So, you've probably seen her in my old videos if you're one of my older viewers, or if you go back and watch them. But this character's name, the actual original character, is Grace. This character has existed since like 2018. But originally the character was like very different. Like in 2021 I started developing an actual like main story for my guys. And then that story has been evolved on since then. And Grace, there's probably like stuff of her older designs still up on my channel. If you want a description on the actual canon Grace, she's like, okay, keep in mind, I originally made and designed this character at like 10. Just a reminder before you say anything. She's a cat girl, or like a cat animal hybrid, which is like, I created a bunch of species that are basically just Kenemonimi, whatever the term for that is, only that's like their actual DNA. Kind of fucking this up. It doesn't look right. Maybe I should zoom in on it. No, zooming in doesn't help. It's the face. I fucked up the face and then like everything else looks wrong. Anyway, but Grace is like, she was originally going to be my main character, but then I decided she's not my main character. She's like secondary support. Grace is a cat girl. She works at a bakery. She really likes climbing trees. And she's like, okay, so yeah, she works at a bakery, but also, I should probably draw the actual character first before drawing the AU version. Grace is a cat girl, and yet she works at a bakery. She's pretty nice. She enjoys baking. She enjoys crafting. She likes outdoor activities such as climbing trees, and there is a canon reason for that. I just don't know if I should go into it right away. I'm gonna go over the other stuff first. That's also why she has bandages, because she cuts her face on the branches. It's not just to be cute, but originally it was just to be cute. Now there's an actual reason why she has bandages. Grace in the main storyline, she's like the funny support, with the majority of the cast being like more serious. She's the one that's not really super serious. She's I don't know if I should go into her full lore, which is why I'm like hesitant to describe her fully. But I'm gonna go into this. There's an old video where this is implied, and this stayed in the lore, but changed a little bit. Grace has a girlfriend named Eli. Originally, the character, not Eli, actually. No, it's pronounced Ellie, not Eli. I thought Eli because I was thinking of the old name. The character used to be named Eli, but then I changed it to Ellie, and I forgot I did that. So, Eli is her girlfriend, and Eli, prior to the events of the main storyline, she was a bystander, but she got hurt in a really bad accident that's put her into a coma, and that, like, or more of a medically induced coma. and it takes her out of the story altogether. Originally, the plan was that they were going to be walking together and she got hit by a falling brick at a construction site. That is no longer the thing, because the video that I made for that, it just looks really funny because of the way I edited the video. It's really funny looking instead of looking serious. Because it just looks like there's a brick that literally just comes out of nowhere and disrupts them. That video's old, by the way. I'm pretty sure I made it literally in my, like, middle school gym class. At least what's the American equivalent of middle school? For me, that's still high school. I'm keep fucking up the eyes. She doesn't have visible eyelashes anymore. I'm, like, hesitant because she doesn't wear makeup. So in the main storyline, Grace is very upset, obviously, that her girlfriend got, like, into an accident and is in a coma. And it is used by the main antagonists as, like, fuel to get them to, like, convert her to their side. Or at least to make them accepting, because realistically they wouldn't convert her to her side, to their side. They wouldn't, and there's, like, a reason for it. But again, I don't know if I should go over absolutely everything. Where do I put her eyes? I'm gonna put them here. God, I keep fucking up. Okay, that's good enough, and I'm gonna keep it like that. Okay, I'm gonna work on the AU version later. At the moment, I'm just gonna doodle the actual character. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go over her lore. It's still kind of unfinished. Because, like, I'm still not 100% certain what to do for it for some parts. But I think it's pretty much fine. In my character's canon, there is, like, animal-human hybrids are experimented, or at least used to be experimented on. Like, children above a certain age, at, like, high school, like, middle school age, until, like, they finish high school, were sent to very specific schools intended for animal-human hybrid creatures, where they were, it wasn't actual school, but they were also experimented on and studied heavily. And, I keep fucking up this. This is really distracting me, weirdly enough. I feel like I fucked her up, but I didn't. Like, it looks fine. Sorry, I'm really distracted by getting this arm right. I feel like I didn't do it right. So Grace went to this, experiment camp thing. I haven't given them, like, an official name. I've kind of just called them experiment camps. And Grace, like, well, all of them were, but she was forcefully taken from her home and felt like she lost her sense of identity since going. And since then, her mother, for the remainder of her childhood, locked her in the house and wouldn't let her leave. And she also developed a very strong distaste towards her government and any government. Like, after what happened, it was also the fact that her mom was so horrified by what they had done, and her mother played a part in it, but also what she had been through herself was the main thing. Yes, she wears fingerless gloves. She's worn them since, like, 2019. But, like, her mom, would lock her up in her house and would kind of, like, agree with everything she was saying. Eventually, Grace got old enough and she was allowed to leave. So she currently lives on her own. She did live with her girlfriend, but then the thing happened to her girlfriend, so currently she is alone. And as I mentioned, she has a very strong distaste for her government, which no longer does that. They don't experiment on animal-human hybrid children anymore, but she still hates them for what they did. She has an intense paranoia of the government. She is probably on the milder side, but a conspiracy theorist. And she believes that, I mean, technically this isn't necessarily false for, like, the real world, but she believes that the government is watching everyone and tracking them through, like, cell phones and through modern technology, so she refuses to use anything that's, like, too modern. She uses an old 90s TV and only watches DVDs and, like, she watches DVDs and she, like, watches, like, DVD TV shows. She doesn't have cable. She doesn't even, like, and she does technically have, like, a public service network. I just can't imagine that she doesn't really use it. She, uh, she doesn't trust most news sources. Like, for the most, like, she doesn't really look at her local news very much because she believes that it could be propaganda and she wouldn't know it. She also refuses to take any kind of medication, specifically for herself. She doesn't want to take, like, any kind of medication for her paranoia and PTSD because she believes that the government is using it to control her. And she also believes that every diagnosis that she's ever gotten is false and that it's all an attempt to get her under their control. She also does not own a cell phone. She owns a flip phone with only her essential friends' contacts on them because she doesn't trust, like, anything. She will literally. She also. The reason she doesn't want to go to a doctor is because she's under the impression that they're going to poison her. She is not actually, like, anti-medicine or anti-vax. She just doesn't. She thinks the government's gonna poison her and any animal-human hybrid in particular. But in general, she wouldn't be, like, anti-vax or anything. She believes that all government leaders are evil and that they are all against her and that they are trying to control her and that they are still trying to track her. And she believes all of this, but she doesn't, like, force it on people. Like, she has these beliefs, but they're specifically for her and not, like, she doesn't make someone who's, like, using a smartphone give up their smartphone. She also, she's used the internet before, but she won't use it currently. She will barely use it. Like, very rarely she will use the internet. And she'll probably only use it because somebody's showing her something. She won't go on it herself. Also, the reason that she plays outside so much, yes, she likes it, but also she's trying to regain, like, she's trying to remember her her roots. She's trying to, like, get back in touch with her, like, part animal roots. I mean, technically you could argue that everyone is part animal in a way. Though that, like, we evolved from chimps thing is technically false. Humans and chimps, or, like, monkeys, just evolved from a common ancestor that isn't known. And what else? What else about her? Right, she also only listens to CDs, and she really a lot of the music she listens to is like old 90s, early 2000s music, and she listens to a lot of music that's like anti-government. So think System of a Down, yet she is a Canon System fan. Also, the gloves are actually like she attempts to get back in touch with her animal self by like climbing trees and mostly spending her time outside. But she also like attempts to live like an actual cat in some ways. As in like her bed is set up like a cat's bed. She also attempts to sharpen she doesn't really have like claws exactly. I mean she does, they're like retractable in her fingernails, but she also doesn't. As in, I don't know if you'd consider those claws. She attempts to sharpen them. She, like, she's kind of a mess. The more I describe her, the more I think, oh my god, she's actually a little bit more, like, not fully sound than I initially thought she was. I feel like because I wrote her, I had, like, I knew what I was writing, but I guess I was desensitized. And that makes it sound like she's, like, insanely mentally ill. I'm not trying to say that she's like she has all of these disorders and like is just like psycho crazy or anything. More just trying to say that like she does have mental problems like most of the cast do. For miscellaneous facts, she like this used to be part of the lore and then I changed it because I realized like this would probably be a little bit odd. It used to be part of the lore that she owned a cat, but that she considered that cat an equal and not a pet. Yeah, I cut that out of the story because, first of all, the cat would have had no significance at all. Second of all, there's like no. Why would she own a cat? She would not own a cat. She does. She doesn't own a pet. She refuses to own a pet. Other things, actually no, because of this fact could possibly be triggering. I'm not gonna go over it. Like what I was about to say, I'm not gonna do it. The fact that she doesn't like the government is also used against her by the main antagonists, who are trying to get her, like, desensitized to what they're doing. Mostly so that she can, like, stop the main character from trying to stop them, and so she can be more on their side and okay with it. Hmm, pretty good. I think I might have made her hair a bit too light, but actually it's relatively fine. I like it. I'm not drawing her full body. I'm not bothering. Grace also, the bakery that she works at, she mostly bakes the desserts. She's not like the main baker, but she's one of them. Oh, and yeah, there's her. I'm gonna go over that in a second. I made it red, by the way, so I could just see what I'm coloring. Also, Grace is best friends with the main character, which is another reason she's like a big part of it. She's pretty nice. She's not like mean to people. Is what I mean by that. I don't know how to explain it. Originally, she was more like childish in behavior, but then I changed it. I didn't really want her to be childish, not really. This looks like something Birdie would draw, and that's not the intention. Obviously, it's not. I just remembered that she only has like one visible eye, so I don't need to draw the other one. Oops. Currently, who I'm attempting to sketch is the main character of this unnamed story. Originally her name was Glitch, and it was that was her name for like a really long time, but I want to change it. I want to change it because first of all, the name was originally matching with an ex-friend's character's name. That friend is a really bad person. I am not her friend anymore. Nope, the mouth is making him more like Birdie. Let's just do this. No. Fuck the mouth. I won't draw the mouth for now. For now, I'm just gonna be referring to her as Glitch because I haven't come up with an actual, like, other name for her yet. This is Glitch, and she is the one trying to. She has history with the main antagonists and is trying to stop them from doing what they're doing. What they're doing exactly, I'm not gonna get into it yet, but it is. Okay, depending on who you ask, they are either doing the worst thing on the planet or they are actually helping. Again, it depends on perspective. This entire plotline is based on perspective, and that's like the whole point. It's supposed to be like not exactly a political commentary, but like a do we do this or do we do this? Which is better? It depends on your morals. It depends on your own stance. This character is a character that believes no harm should come to anyone for any reason, regardless of what they've done. So she's trying to stop the main antagonists from what they're doing. The main antagonists believe they're doing the right thing, and they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. If I were to make this into like a game, I can imagine it would have several endings, depending on what you choose to do. Like, for an example, there could be an ending where she actually joins them and decides that they're doing the right thing and she wants to help. Or there could be an ending where you do nothing and they just, like, continue doing exactly what they're doing. But then they don't tell you what the outcome is past that point. Like, they don't tell you if it had a positive or negative impact because it's up for interpretation. God, I feel like I'm messing up. I feel like, does this anatomy look weird currently? If I get into Glitch's lore, then that means I would basically be leaking the entire storyline, for the most part. Okay, I'm realizing now that she looks far more emo than I intended her to look. Because I think I drew her hair wrong. This character's actually meant to be goth, and just the majority of the time not in her full outfit. I'm gonna need to, like, Hang on. I'm gonna find an old drawing I did of her for reference on the hair. Because I feel like I mess up the hair a lot. I have an album of all my art. There it is. Wish everything I can archive. I found it. This didn't. No, actually, it does help me. I realized I drew these side hairs wrong. I should just make a reference of her so that I know what I'm doing. But I'm usually lazy to make ref sheets because they take a bit. I usually just draw whatever comes to mind. I was kind of right. I was on the right track. Where did I have the... Okay. Her hair was dyed. That's what that is. Kind of hard to tell. She has acne, I forgot. Yeah, Glitch has acne. Or at least acne scars. I'm doing this in black because her eyeshadow's black. Oh, I drew her with acne around her mouth. Damn it! Again, I really just need to make a reference for her. And that's... Fuck it. Okay, now, before I do anything, I gotta just say, before I draw it, even though I know this shouldn't probably need a warning, but I want to put a warning anyway, just in case. This character has very heavy scarring on her body in a lot of places. Like, her arms are covered in scars, and her legs, what you can see on her full body, are also covered in scars, which you won't really see here. I am going to draw her with the scars that she has. Also, she doesn't just have them to, like, be edgy. There is a reason she has them. And it is part of the storyline. But I want to warn you before I do it. Just in case. Even though they're healed. They are fully healed. They are not fresh. I wouldn't be drawing, like, anything fresh on a character like this. Like, no. Her hair was brown for years, but I think I'm gonna make it, like, this, like, I mean, it's black, but I'm not doing solid black. I'm doing this, like, what's technically, like, a dark purple, because regardless, purple's meant to be, like, her main color. What? Where did I mess up on that? Where did I mess up? Where's the hole? I found a hole. I don't know if it's the hole. Okay, where's the gap? That's a gap. Is that it? No. Where is it? I'm not doing all of this by hand if I can just paint bucket it, so... Nope. Where? Am I pulling a windowa? Is it, like, so obvious and I'm not seeing it? Because I really don't see a gap here. I don't know where it's... Where is it leaking? There's that. If that's the one, that was the one. Okay, so I am windowa. If for the longest time she had brown hair, I'm changing that. But I do think I'll make this brown to show that she does. Or no, it doesn't really look that good. That works, and it works with the colors. That's the main thing. I wanted it to work with the colors. Glitch is like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna get into it now. She was like doing the same thing that the main antagonists were doing for quite a long period. And I think, like, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna give you a description on the ACWR. ACWR, which I have drawn a few of the characters before, and the icon of ACWR was on them, and I remember getting questions about it on my Newgrounds page. What it means, what it stands for, is Anti-Corruption World Restoration. And it is a small, non-profit team of non-human entities who observe Earth from another perspective that go in and quote-unquote eliminate corruption. Their idea of corruption is basically just a bad person. They believe that all the bad in the world is due to corruption, and it is like a sickness, and it needs to be eradicated. People that they deem corrupt, they attempt to fix through, like, therapy for a period of time, and if it doesn't work, if the person is too far gone, or if what they've done is so, in their perception, unforgivable, actually, in my perception too, in this case, unforgivable, they kill them. And Glitch was part of this organization before it actually came to Earth and started working. A bit before, shortly after, actually, like, she was part of it when it was still in the very small, trying to get support phases. And right when they started actually doing it, Glitch's mind changed, and she believed that all of them were doing the wrong thing, they were making the wrong choice, and she left. She retreated on Earth and changed her name and identity in an attempt to escape it all. But they followed her. The organization followed her. And shut up. Shut up. No, actually, I think I got some of that wrong. It's my own story, but I haven't actually written it out. It's just been in my head, so if I'm mixing up details, that's why. Okay. I think, no, what I originally wrote was that she had, like, they hadn't actually gone to Earth yet and done anything. but she felt that what they were doing was wrong after a period of time. Like, once it really started getting serious, so she left. And then after she left to Earth, she changed her identity, she made friends, she was doing fine alone and trying to forget about the whole thing, and then they came to Earth. And they started actually putting into effect what they said they would for the past few years. Not only that, but they started following her. They started, like, keeping tabs on her by quite literally following her, and, like, their logic behind it was to protect her, but realistically it was more stalking that they were getting people to do. And these people would also, these were frequently old members that she used to know and have history with that would be tasked with following her. And they would also be tasked with attempting to get her back into the cause. So, like, trying to get her to come back to them. And eventually they start getting to her friends, and they start trying to convince her friends that what they're doing is perfectly normal and fine. Okay, the time has come. I'm going to draw her scars. They are healed. They are healed. I'm only saying this because I don't know if it's triggering. And I don't know I don't know if I can change the title currently and put a content warning on it. I'm sorry, it sounds like I don't know how to explain it. Me saying that kind of sounds like I'm trying too hard to please people. Or not that, but I'm like way too obsessed with giving a content warning when I'm not 100% certain if it's needed. I more just want to reiterate. There, glitch. Done. Actually, I am gonna give her like a face shadow because it feels kind of empty without it. The main storyline is Glitch attempting to stop them as they continue to slowly fuck things up for, like, everybody. Fuck things up as in their town is so bad that they are killing enough people that it's causing problems. And it's not actually just that, it's that they are tagging them. After they die, each member, if they have to kill someone, it is instructed of each member that they tie a blue bandana around their leg with the ACWR logo. I'm going to give you an example of that. This is a sketch, it's not meant to look good. Currently, the ACWR doesn't have, like, a specific logo, it's just ACWR. Oh, another thing, they believe the world is doomed without their cause, and that they are saving, like, everyone. And that they are the best people for the job. Because they are an unbiased source. Looks like this. And if enough people are being found dead with this on their ankle, it's going to cause some confusion. It's going to cause some problems. And the main problem is they initially think that these are gang killings, but then they start questioning if this is like a serial killer that's doing it. Another thing, because none of the members are human, their DNA cannot be traced, so they can't actually find them through DNA tracing. And those of them that used to be human, their DNA traces back to somebody who's dead, so it doesn't make any sense, and they can't find any leads. They don't know what's going on. The main the founders of the ACWR are two OCs named Alice and Clementine. Alice and Clementine, they are the ones who came up with it. Clementine used to be a human that died on Earth in an accident where their friend was drunk and drove the group of friends after a party regardless and crashed their car. And Alice is a born demon. Originally, I planned on having Alice be human too, but then I didn't end up doing it. Alice and Clementine run the ACWR, and they were the ones who met Glitch when it was still in the early stages. Glitch, who was once a human, who had died very young, and that they helped for years. They were her friend for years before, like, Glitch met Alice first, and then Clementine came along afterwards, and they all became friends, and then the ACWR started becoming founded. They were the two founders, but Glitch did also play a part in the founding of the project. And then, once it started getting, like, much more serious, and they started making plans to go to Earth, that's when she, started thinking, I don't think I want to do this anymore, this doesn't feel right, and she left them. She left them all. But then past that point, not only did they keep tabs from her while not on Earth, when they came to Earth, they found her and continued to keep tabs on her. The whole thing. And they continue to follow her throughout the main events of the story, including when things start getting really bad. They also begin to track her friends and anyone that is speaking to her. They attempt to get Glitch to come back, but, like, depending on your, like, if I make this into a game, depending on your decision, she'll either go back or she won't. Like, the game, if I were to make this into a game, then the endings would all be determined on what you choose, and it's all based off of your own decisions and your own beliefs. The ACWR are considered antagonists, but depending on how you look at it, they're not doing anything wrong. In my personal opinion, they aren't actually, but in my opinion, they would be more anti-heroes because technically, yes, what they're doing is wrong, but at the same time, the kinds of people they're killing are the kinds of people that you would find on the list. So, they're really bad people. So you can either look at them as bad people or at what they're doing as, like, an amazing thing. Glitch sees it as bad. She sees it as bad because she believes that the justice system's gonna get them and they don't need to intervene. Grace is a middle ground, where she kind of leans both ways throughout the story. Like, there's all kinds of different stances that would be explored in this story from various characters. Like, they all have various opinions on it. In fact, there's another character. I'm not gonna give her name because currently she doesn't actually have a name, she only has a nickname, and that nickname is Rainbow. She believes they're doing the right thing, and that there is no reason to stop them. Also, she's supposed to die at some point during the storyline, so that's, like, again, if it were a game, if I had any coding skills, her death would be unavoidable regardless of what you did. It was gonna happen. It's always gonna happen. Okay, so currently, because I don't want to leave stream just paused, I'm gonna go use the bathroom and end the stream. Just for now. I will be back